To bring you an exclusive interview with South Carolina's Ellen Geddes. She's a member of the USA's Paralympic fencing team. Ellen is set to compete in both women's foil and épée fencing.
Yeah, Ellen told us how she was preparing for this exciting competition and her path to the games. Take a look.
Aiken native and Paralympic fencing team member, it is Ellen Geddes. Ellen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here on The Mix today. Tell us how first you got involved in fencing. What drew you to that sport?
So I had no idea fencing existed. Before I got injured, I did my spinal cord injury rehab at the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. They have a ton of different sports teams there and are really motivated in getting their inpatients at least the knowledge of the different sports that are available. And one Saturday, my mom took me down to the gym to do some extra working out. And I ran into two members of their fencing team, and the captain at the time, Dennis Aspey, asked me if I thought it would be fun to stab people. And I said yes. So that was what got me started.
That is the most truest answer I think we've ever gotten on this show.
The rest is history, right? Awesome. And Ellen, as you prepare for the Paralympics in Paris, so what does your training routine look like, and how do you balance competing in both women's foil and épée?
So training for both weapons is pretty difficult to balance. It's not something able-bodied athletes do. Able-bodied athletes compete in only one weapon. That's something that's pretty unique to the para side of it. So I definitely fence more foil than épée because I enjoy it more and I feel like I'm better at it. But I've kind of, as we've been leading up to the games, trying to force myself to make a more 50-50 shape on the training of the two different weapons.
So what do you think, Ellen, are the biggest challenges you've faced during your fencing career, and how have you overcome those?
So I started fencing so early after acquiring my injury that I think the beginning of my fencing career was very much shaped by the fact that I hadn't learned how to live in a wheelchair yet. And so figuring out how to move in the chair and understand how the chair works and how my body works now really kind of slowed down the beginning of my fencing career. And then once I kind of understood the chair, I was able to make absolute big leaps and bounds in my actual fencing.
And Ellen, who or what has been your biggest source of inspiration and motivation as you prepare for these games?
So there were two women in fencing when I first started competing, Kat Beaucamp and Lauren DeLuca. And Kat had gone to a games in London in 2012, right before I started competing internationally. And then Lauren was able to go to the games in Rio in 2016, a games that I had competed internationally up to, but I didn't make it to. So seeing both of them be successful and getting to interact with them throughout the beginning of my fencing career really gave me the motivation and the drive to aim for a games and make it to Tokyo, and then keep competing and make it to my second games for Paris.
All right, and here we are, the second games of Paris. So how do you think competing in the Paralympics, that's going to impact the sport of fencing and maybe just the broader Paralympic movement overall?
I am very excited to hopefully be able to bring fencing to more disabled athletes. Once I'm done with Paris, I'm the first woman in 20 years in the United States to make it to two subsequent games. So I'm hoping that I can continue with this energy and grow the sport a little bit as we're leading into a home games in LA.
Excellent.
That's awesome. So inspiring. And what advice would you give to young athletes who are interested in getting into Paralympic sports?
If you want to make it to a Paralympics and you're just starting out in the sport, you have to be prepared to lose. I lost internationally for a very long time before I was finally successful. And it takes that ability to stay a little stubborn and stick with it to be successful at anything. So be prepared to lose before you win.
She is Aiken, South Carolina native Ellen Geddes on Team USA's Paralympic fencing team. Go Team USA. And Ellen, we'll be rooting for you here in the CSRA. Thank you for joining us and spending a little time.
Yeah, thank you so much.